I want you to imagine that you have this big fat stack of cash in your hands. Actually, a little over $800,000 worth of cash, okay? I want you to imagine you have that. And now, I want you to imagine you take that big fat stack of cash, nearly over $800,000, and you just give it to Google. Well, that's exactly what I've done in the last 3.5 months. And I'd like to share on this video why I did that, how I did that, and what exactly I learned from this entire process. So stick around to the end. Hey, what's up guys? Nick Rapkless here. Welcome to today's video. Always excited to have you here, and I know that intro was a little bit interesting and weird, and you probably at this point are kind of wondering, what the heck are you talking about, Nick? So I want to get into all of this type of stuff and share with you this whole concept of how I spent over $800,000 in the last three and a half months and just gave it to Google, okay? And I'm going to explain why I did that, exactly how we did that, how I came up with all this money, and what I really learned in the process. So again, if you're interested in that, stick around all the way to the end of this video. Now, if you do end up enjoying this content and you're not subscribed to this channel, I want you to do two specific things. I want you to subscribe to this channel, but I also want you to share this with someone that you really value. You value their opinion, you think that it could help them. Share it with them, okay? Share it with that one specific person, because it is really our mission to share this message with more people, and I promise all this stuff will make sense, and it's actually gonna help you, okay? That's what this channel is all about. It's helping people live more prosperous, abundant, and fulfilled lives, okay? That's really what it comes down to, and we have a few different modalities on how we do that. So again, make sure and stick around all the way to the end. And again, if you enjoy this content, make sure and share this with a friend that can get some value out of it, okay? So my name is Nick Rapkless if you're new here, but let's jump into this content. I'm gonna share with you 3 specific things that I learned from this, but first I wanna share kind of a few stories that will kind of help you understand this. So as I mentioned in this video, I just posted it a few days ago, I was talking about this whole concept of media buying and how it is you can make up to $90,000 per year, sometimes even more, as a YouTube media buyer or just a media buyer in general, because you are helping other companies make a whole lot more money. Obviously, you wouldn't be getting paid that kind of money if you weren't bringing some type of value into the world. So you can make $90,000 a year, sometimes even more, if you are a really good media buyer and you're helping other companies make a significantly amount of more money. So we talked all about that on this video, and that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 3.5 months. I am a media buyer in an agency, and collectively across all of our clients, myself and another media buyer have co-managed over $800,000 in the last 3.5 months. We've given that to Google, and obviously the reason that we've done that is because it's exponentially making our clients even more money. Like sometimes there's a particular campaign that I was managing, we're spending about $1,000 a day on that particular campaign. There was one week where we spent roughly around $6,000 that turned into I don't know why I said it like that, $32,000 in revenue. $6,000 into $32,000 in revenue. So you can see the correlation why we are spending so much money, because it's making us a bunch of money on the back end. So that's what we're doing with our clients. And so I want to share the 3 things that I've gotten out of this, the 3 lessons that I've learned from spending all this money. When you're spending that amount of money, you're driving a lot of traffic, you're driving a lot of attention to websites. And it's really cool because you can understand a lot more that goes in the mind of people and help understand, like, what are really people thinking? Why are they taking actions? Why are they doing specific things when they get to a website? And why are they watching the video for longer periods? Why are they actually clicking on that? You can learn a lot about people when you spend that kind of money in a very quick period of time. So again, it's been a huge lesson learned for me. I have 3 specific lessons that I would like to share with you all the way. I'm gonna share some specifics about targeting, but I'm also gonna share specifics on really what makes the campaigns really successful. What makes it so that we could spend $6,000 in a week and turn that into $32,000 in a 7-day span. I'm gonna share exactly the 3 components that really helps us do those type of numbers. Okay, so again, let's jump into this. So number 1, I wanna share a little bit more about the targeting. So if you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you know that we talk a lot about YouTube ads, and I've been talking about a specific thing that is really the bulk of why ads are successful, why campaigns are successful. And I talk a lot about the messaging and a few other things that I'll actually be sharing on point number 3. But I want to talk a little bit more about the targeting, because targeting is very, very important. A lot of people think that, you can just, pick one little target and then all of a sudden, boom, your ad blows up. And that can happen, especially if you follow kind of the process that we've done and what I've come to find out in terms of the best targeting practices. So number 1 is, I just want to talk about the targeting. What is working the best? What is absolutely working the best? Because there's some people that say like placements is the best. Putting your ads in front of specific videos, taking the links and putting them in specific videos. Like that has worked. It's just not something that I have done a lot in the past because there's not a real ability to scale. So the way that we have had the most success with our targeting is by far keywords, okay? You want to be utilizing the keyword feature on targeting where somebody is actually searching out something and they come and find your video because of the fact that they searched it. So you want to do a lot of keyword research. And one of the biggest things that I like to do is the first and foremost, there's kind of 3 levels of keywords, okay? The first level is competing products and companies. So if you have a product that's all about green juicing, okay, let's say green juicing, what you would want, the keyword that you would typically want to bid on is something like Organifi, because that is a really big juicing company. So that's kind of the most targeted. The second targeted is other influencers in the space. So again, if the juicing example is what we're going with, the guy that owns the company, his name is, shoot, it's spacing me right now. He's the owner of Organifi, but you would target that specific Drew Canoli, okay? Drew Canoli, I would target him, and that's kind of the second level of keyword targeting because that'll be a little bit more volume typically. Sometimes it can vary, but it'll be a little less targeted opposed to like the specific company that is all about juicing. It's just the guy that is responsible for the company. And then the next level keywords, which is a little more broad, there'll be a little bit more volume, but it'll be a little less targeted, making your ads convert a little bit lower, but it'll give you the ability to scale out a little bit more. So on those type of keywords, they would be more like broad keywords, whether it's like how to get fit with green juicing or something like that. I always like to have them a little bit more long tail, but you can go a little shorter. The shorter you go on the keyword, the less targeted it is, but the more broad it'll be and the more you can scale on those. So those are kind of the 3 levels. I always like going with keywords. That's one of my favorite ways on how to target, especially if you're spending anywhere below $1,000 a day. Once you get into the $1,000 a day, I like to go with some custom intent audiences in market, and one of my favorite ones recently is similar audiences. And if you guys are interested in me showing you exactly how those similar audiences work, put in similar audiences down below and I'll discuss that, but that's a whole video in itself. I can do a little screen share video to show you guys exactly how that goes, but it really has significantly been helping us in the agency and across my clients as well, where those similar audiences give us the ability to scale once we're going over $1,000 a day. So that's number 1. That's the first thing that I've learned in terms of what really makes a successful YouTube ad campaign, again, after spending a good chunk of change. So that's a really big thing, is targeting. And again, like I mentioned, is one of the biggest things is your targeting, and it is keywords, okay? That's my favorite. Some people like placements, some people like affinity audiences, but from what we've seen, the best results by far is going with keyword campaigns. So that's what I would strongly recommend. So number 2, the next thing that I've really learned after spending a good chunk of change and managing a lot of different accounts that are spending a lot of money and helping us run profitable YouTube ad campaigns is really the offer, okay? The offer makes up about 40% of the success of the campaign. And so what really the offer is it's what you are requiring them to invest in order for what deliverables that you're going to give. So the reason that I share with you this is because we track a lot of different things. And so one of the biggest things that we track is obviously leads. And then if we're doing a direct to purchase, meaning they are going to be purchasing on the website, maybe it's a lower ticket offer, maybe somewhere around the 47 to 97, maybe even a 7 to 97. We are going to just have someone come in and then we're going to put an order form on the page after they watch our sales message, our video sales letter typically. So what happens a lot of time is we'll track, okay, we got the lead for this cost. Let's say we got the lead for $7, okay? But then we're getting people that are actually hitting the order page, because basically what will happen is we will have an opt-in page, then we'll have the video sales letter, then we will have an order form. Okay, so we're tracking every step of the process. And on some of our clients, what we've noticed is that offer is a little off. It's not resonating completely with the audience. And how we know that is because there's a lot of people getting to the last step in terms of getting to the order form, but they're not purchasing. And when we see that, when we see a lot of people getting to the order form, but not purchasing, we know it's an offer problem. So when you do that, you really have to go and do a little bit more analysis. And this is why it's so important to do a lot of research in the beginning and really get your offer down. And how you can do that is really go research, one, your audience, your market. So let's again go with the green juicing. You really want to know the pains, you want to know the desires. Why are people juicing? Are they want to be fit? Do they like the taste of it? Like, what exactly is it, the benefit that they're looking to get out of it? Are they think they're going to get skinny? They think they're going to get ripped? Like, learn all about that, but then also look at your competitors. What are they offering? What are the delivers that they're bringing? What are the price points? What is the bonuses that they're throwing in? What is the main benefit, the hook? What is the big idea? Like, all that kind of stuff that goes into an offer, you really want to research that. And again, like one of my mentors, he talks about how the offer is 40% of the success of your campaign. The rest is, your targeting and your marketing and your messaging and all that kind of stuff. So really hone in on your offer. Really make it as irresistible as possible. They talk about that all the time, irresistible as possible. And what I like to call is a sexy offer. I've talked about this before. In fact, on this video, we talked a lot about the sexy offer. But really why I like to call it like that is because of the fact that, like, what happens when you see a sexy person in your eyes? You're like, I want that. I gotta have that, right? So I want to have the same type of response in your prospective clients. They see an offer, they're like, I want that. I have to have that. And you have to make it in a way that it just feels like a no-brainer. They're like, why wouldn't I do this? This feels like an even exchange. This feels like I'm getting the deal. When they're paying for something, they feel like they're getting the deal. That's what you want to get it to. You want to make it light. You want to make it just easy for someone to just pull out their credit card and purchase. So that is really big. We could also probably make another video all about making an offer. If you guys are interested in that, put an offer down in the comments down below. Again, all of these videos can be, or all these things can be videos in themselves. But again, these are the big three components that I've learned from this particular, from my experience here. So that's number two, is really having a dialed in offer and always be iterating. You're always gonna have to make changes. Things are always gonna be evolving. You're not always gonna jump out of the gate and think that you're gonna make a ton of money with your YouTube ads. It's gonna be a constant iteration, but the offer is a main component of having success with your YouTube ad campaigns. So number three, and this is the big daddy of them all, is the creative. Okay, once you know your offer, once you know your targeting, you know your market, you know all that type of stuff, it's all about creating a solid creative. And when I say creative, that is your video. Okay, so I want to discuss this a little bit and talk to you about what's important within a creative, what makes a good creative, and specifically on YouTube. Okay, so there's a lot of people that I see and I kind of cringe when I see their ads. It's just very bland, boring ads saying, hey, I have this, hey, this, that, and so forth. A lot of times they're shouting. They're just trying to explain how cool they are. They're saying, hey, I've done this, done this, done this. Click the ad and you can learn how. And like, yes, that's one level of influence. That's one way to pursue or persuade people, is saying, hey, look how cool I am. Go check out my website to look how cool I am even more. So that's one way to do it. I don't think it's the most effective way. And again, after spending a good chunk of change, learning this stuff, spending a lot of money, I've spent a lot of money on ads that don't work. That's the biggest thing. I've learned a lot of things that don't work. I've understood a lot of things that do work, but I've also seen the stuff that doesn't work. And the more bland, the more boring, the more you're just sounding like everybody else, the worse your ad is going to do, okay? So what I recommend you instead, and I wanna share a quick little story here. I was talking with a good friend of mine who's a very brilliant marketer, and he talks about how a lot of people talk about how they have these ad agencies. But if you pay attention to people like David Ogilvy, the late David Ogilvy, who is kind of the king of advertising, and he talked about an ad agency isn't necessarily like someone that manages ads. Like, yes, that's a component of it, but what makes a real ad agency is the creative, the creativity side of things. They have this big idea and they implement that, and that's really what makes the success of the campaign. You can't really accurately quantify that, but the better the creative, the better the big idea around the ad, that's what's really gonna make the success. I mean, you think about even like some of the ads that Apple put together and they put it on the Super Bowl. Like if they didn't have an ad that just like really spoke to people and helped, like just drew them in, they would have spent like, you know, millions and millions of dollars on this ad that just flopped. So it's so imperative that you have a really good creative, and it's the same thing with YouTube ads. Your creative has to be good. And I was actually talking with an agency owner this morning who's done millions and millions of dollars, and he has very awesome, his creatives are just amazing. Like they're just awesome, and I'm gonna share some components of them that makes them very successful. But what we were talking about today is that you wanna have a little bit of humor. You wanna have a little bit of fun in your ads, and really what you're looking for, it's not that you're trying to be bombastic and just hilarious on your ads. What you really wanna do is you wanna get people to smirk, to be like, okay, I like that, that's good. And if you can go for that approach where you're just like, you get that response from people, that's when your ad is gonna succeed, okay? That is when your ad is gonna succeed, because people are like, they get it and they resonate with it, and they're more likely to share your ads. Now you can't necessarily share ads in terms of the in-stream ads on YouTube, but you want that kind of effect so that they're like, damn, I saw that ad and I wanna share it with somebody. There's a company called Dr. Squatch. I talk about them all the time, and I'm like, people will go actively search for them. Like their keyword phrase shows up a lot for like Dr. Squatch ad, just pops up, and that's why they've really blown up, is because they have this amazing ad that's funny, it's humorous, it just gets people to be like, okay, yeah, I get it, that makes sense. So that is one of the biggest components. The other big component on a successful ad is really the hook. What do you draw them in with? Okay, because what I've done in a lot of different ads is we change the first 5 to 10 seconds. We change like the first, like, hey, are you looking for a way to get fit with green juicing? And the next one is like, hey, here's one of our clients that's had a lot of success with green juicing. So we're trying all these different hooks, and sometimes that can be the biggest difference. Like one particular campaign we were running, we were getting about $14 leads with the ad that we were running. We changed the hook just a tad and then kept the rest of the video exactly the same. And because of that, it cut the cost from $14 leads down to $7 leads. So you can see, like, yes, the targeting can be cool, like your offer can be good, but if you just change up the creative, you change up the hook, you really hone in on the creative and making the creative as best possible, that can sometimes be the biggest shift on having your ads very successful, dropping the cost in terms of acquisition, but then increasing your average order values, increasing that lifetime customer value and all that kind of stuff. So those are the 3 things that I've learned after spending over $800,000 in the last 3.5 months, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know down in the comments below which one of these you got the most insight. What was the big breakthrough that you had? Was it 1? Was it 2? Was it 3? Was it the offer, or we shared on number 2, offer number 2? Was it the targeting in terms of like keywords, or was it really the ad creative and the hooks and just making it humorous? Which one really spoke to you? Which one gave you the most value? I'd really like to learn more about what you guys learned from this video and help me understand exactly what I can make for future videos. And again, if you guys would like me to make specific videos about 1, 2, or 3, about the keywords, about the offer, and about the creative, if you guys want to make specific videos that go to a little bit more depth about that, just put in down below 1, 2, or 3, or you want me to make another video, and I'll be happy to do that, because I'm always looking for more content, better content to make for you guys, but I want to make sure that it is resonating with you. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Make sure and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and then also share this with at least one person that you really value that can get a lot of value from this, because we're obviously wanting to build up this channel more and more and get our message out to more people, because we are in a strong mission to help people live more prosperous, abundant, fulfilled lives. And a lot of it starts with advertising, but we also go into the manifestation, the law of attraction, we go into personal development, all the things that are gonna make you successful as a business owner and a person as a whole. That's our mission here on this YouTube channel. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, guys. Appreciate you. Make sure and subscribe if you have not already, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.